Hello.
Let's play.
It's good to be back. It was great doing the show with you last week, sitting right next to you. But I'm kind of happy being back in the office and.
It's good. It's good to be away from you right now.
You're very bright today with the orange Sydney wide discount shirt.
Bright, mate. The new colours have come in. I think this is clay. This is clay colour, maybe.
How come you're ordering a medium?
Do you like it? I got the pipes out. I was just telling you. Have a go at them. I made sure they're in the camera.
How are you, mate? What's going on? It's been a big week since I've seen you. I went down to Sydney for 2 days. Felt like I was down there for a month.
I said that when I dropped you at the airport on Friday. I thought, fuck, it feels like you've been down here for 2 weeks.
Yeah, it was a long journey. We usually kick off the show with what was the best thing from the weekend of sports and things like that. But I got to be honest, a week down the track and I'm still hungover.
Yeah, it was a hard brain fog to get rid of because we really did rip in like it was a State of Origin game.
For anyone that didn't listen to last week's show or the week before, we had a charity golf day, and we for Giant Steps, and Pat. You know, they love having Pat there because he Sydney wide discounts gives them plenty of support, and we had what do we have with 6 ball going around. So we had a 4 ball and another 2 ball, which was with a group. Paul Hildo and Wolfie had to go with a group that looked like the straightest dudes ever. One was like a federal judge. No, he was a lawyer, sorry, a QC or something, and the other one I can't remember. But they end up getting right into it, especially when you rocked up and you had the Canberra. We're talking about this last night on Locked In. You rocked up and you had the Canberra Cup and you were pouring Jamisons in it. The boys. The old boys rolled up the sleeves and they just took it down.
They really partook in the shenanigans that were occurring around our golf cart. There was plenty going on there. I reckon it would have copped a good hose at the end of the day by the pro.
Well, the Canberra Cup.
The Canberra Cup and that golf cart. I reckon it may have had to be retired.
It was a big day. It was a great day. Great cause. We saw Josh Reynolds out there. We saw Reed Marnie. Reed was very happy to see us again after last year. We had him kind of in stitches towards the end of the night last year, and he was a bit more well behaved this year. And Josh Reynolds.
They had to play on.
When did they play it?
Sunday.
It's a Thursday. Relax. The boys can have a drink. Did you end up telling him about your Jersey Flegg grand final reunion? I did. I saw you tell Reed, and his eyes just glazed over, and he goes, "Oh, that's good, mate." Could not give a shit.
You're nasty. You're nasty, mate.
Me? Reed, you mean?
Did you tell him about when you were on the website with Mark of the Year characters such as who was the guy?
Jezelenko, you're guilty.
The claim to fame. Woodhead was once, I think it was mistakenly put on a photo website for judging the Mark of the Year.
Watch the bigmanfly.com, and they had the top 100 marks ever taken on camera, and I was one of them. And the mark that I took, it looked impressive on camera. If that photographer slightly panned out, you would have seen my feet were about 2.5 inches off the ground.
I wish we told Reed Marnie that story.
What did you say? Oh, don't get so defensive. What did Josh Reynolds say when you said, "Hey, Reno"? What did you say, Josh? Or
he said, "Bro, you're a fucking 6C, mate. Come in the rooms on the weekend. You're a legend." Or he may have just said, "Can you just go back to your group?"
Yeah, no, I don't need to take. You've already taken a fair few selfies. But no, it was a fantastic golf day. The best, one of the great stitch-ups happened not long after. I told this on Locked In as well, so apologies if you're listening to it twice. But we got back to our hotel room to just chuck our bags down and put a different shirt on before we went out. We hit the town after the golf day, which is great effort from us. First beer at about 10 a.m. and we rolled back into the room at 10 p.m. and shot straight back out. It's good for a couple of old fellas. And Hildo quickly ran into the room of the hotel and locked himself in there and said, "Piss off, I've got to get up at 2:30, 3 a.m, blah, blah, blah." It's like, we tried to kick the door in. I'm surprised the hotel manager wasn't called. And then when we got back in at about 1:30, I knocked on the door and go, "Hello, mate. We just we've got a couple of zinger boxes if you want something." Door instantly opens. Here he comes out with his little raccoon eyes. There was nothing out there. We barely got any food for ourselves.
It was like letting a bull out for the 8 seconds. He was out and ready to rip in.
Nothing.
Absolute naught for him. You got me in a pretty decent stitch up at the service station.
Oh yeah, we did have something to eat. We got some hot pies.
Well, I didn't eat any of it. Now it feels like I've eaten candle wax. Woodhead gave me the old when your mate buys a pie and the other one's hovering around like a seagull. He goes, "Look, you can have one bite. It's a bloody nice pie." He puts it in front of me. I take the biggest bite you've ever seen. It was scorched earth. It was made of pure lava.
It was molten.
I sent that piece of pie I took out with a spit. And
it was a piece of pie. It was one of those pies that's been sitting in the pie warmer all day. So it eventually just gets to a point where, when you just have something simmering that it just gets too hot and starts to boil. Well, that's
it was like a 36-hour bolognese.
Oh, yeah, we got to make that. Heaps to talk about this weekend. I tell you what, we've taken some whacks at teams since we've started this podcast, and I suppose Para have probably copped it the most, mainly from you, and second most would be probably Tigers. I went pretty hard on them early, and they've done absolutely naught since, by the way. So it's not like that's changed. The two bogey teams meet this weekend, but before we get into these games, the Tigers cannot do anything right. And I've spoken to Tigers supporters on this show before. I don't know how you guys do it. You must be the most resilient lot. For them to come out and do what they did with the Anzac jersey is so fucking embarrassing. To get a Google image of 2 American soldiers and put that at the bottom of the jersey, put the jersey for sale so members can buy it, have Bateman sitting there or whoever it was sitting there displaying the Anzac Day jersey, and someone to sit there and say, well, hold on, they're American soldiers. And literally I saw a kid on TikTok type in American soldiers helicopter on Google Images, and it was the third image that came up, and they can't do anything right. Even their CEO or whatever, how he's in the rooms on the phone, and see, that stuff didn't bother me. That's old school thinking the boss is going to come in and the players are going to get a rev up. The players don't give a shit. And he can sit there on the phone, but they have committed absolute sacrilege when it comes to Australian. Just Australia and Australian football, especially how big a fixture the Anzac Day football, the Anzac Day fixture, how big it is for football. This has blown me away. And then they've come out and said, in fact, I saw Kenty was saying briefly, I had it on in the background when I was doing work last night, and he said that they contacted the Australian Defence Force and said the Tigers are basically the only team that just didn't consult with us, didn't chat with us, didn't have any conversations in regards to images and what they can do to pay their respects. So I know this is a bit of a funny thing and adds to the thing, but I reckon it's absolutely fucking horrid.
It's pathetically lazy. And
but remove the laziness. It's offensive. It's offensive.
Oh, yeah, it comes across offensive. But it got to that point of offensiveness through laziness. They didn't come out to be offensive towards the army.
I get that. I understand that. They would never do that to the Anzacs and all that stuff. I get that.
At the same time, mate, their back office is a fucking shambles. I don't know how as a company, how as a business, they get away with having such a poor back office. Take it a step further. I agree with everything you said before, so I don't want to add too much to that. But Pascoe, the chairman. You tell me
that's on Pascoe. That's it.
If you're the guy collecting cups off a table at the pub, Do you want the boss standing right there watching you do it? If you're the guy cutting hair at the hairdresser, do you want your boss standing right next to you watching you cut their hair? If you're the guy trading markets, the biggest job ever, trading financial markets, do you want your boss standing over your shoulder looking at the computer going, no, you're doing it wrong? Or do you want him giving you 2 cents? Well, West Tigers have their bloody CEO out there on the training paddock helping them warm up. They have him carrying bags. I get it. He thinks, oh, well, I'm helping. I'm doing this. Mate, fuck off. All you're doing is hindering. No one can do their best work.
I never even looked at it from that way. You're right, though. Like, as if you want him out there. Honestly. And look, in sports administration, like I've got a bit of an insight into sports administration. He would have a million things to fucking do. He said, I was an away game, so we didn't have any court. If he has nothing to do prior to a big game, he's doing his job wrong.
The shit that he is doing, he could give that to a fan as a volunteer that would think that that's the best thing that they've ever done in their life.
That's true. That's a good point.
So
honestly,
for him to say he's there helping, that's him on his high horse going, not me, no dust on my shoulders. You can't bag me. I'm
out there helping the boys. I'm doing this.
I'm doing the shit kicker jobs. Mate, let the shit kickers do the shit kicker job because sometimes the shit kicker actually fucking enjoys that.
Fan.
No, but I'm saying that sometimes the easy jobs like that, people enjoy doing them, mate. That's where they get they want to be around the team like that. He's doing it just to fucking tick a box to say, this is why I can be close and be watching and have my finger on the pulse of the club and give my 2 cents worth because I'm the one carrying your bags off the fucking truck. I'm the one filling up your water bottle. So I can say that because I'm doing the boss work and I'm doing the low work. Mate, just fuck off and get up there and do the boss work. You got to worry about shit like, how did that get approved? That final approval of a jersey that costs them $100,000 worth of revenue should be approved by him. He's a fucking goose.
Yeah, stop down there being the ball boy and being a part of the boys. Like, get your front office,
you're not one of the boys.
Back office, get it all in check, and don't allow something as don't allow something so, like you said, something that's so offensive that was bred from laziness. Don't let that happen. Don't ever let that happen. That was so bad.
Is it any wonder? Like you said, he has 1,000 jobs to do. Is it any wonder that they're missing stuff like photos being put on commemoration jerseys or Anzac jerseys because he's too busy fucking collecting the bags off the bus or filling up the water bottles? He's not doing his job. He's not doing it properly. West Tigers are an absolute shambles at the moment.
Fucking oath. I can't stand
One of the coaches has to go, whether it's Benji or Tim Sheens. One of them's got to go. They need one leader there to look up to, and I think they've got to make it one of the boys. They've got to make it Benji because they've tried with Michael Maguire.
I agree. Sheens looks like fucking Weekend at Bernie's on the sideline. I feel like they've got it like when the camera's pan, someone needs to pull the string so his arm. For any of our young listeners that don't know Weekend at Bernie's, an absolute classic movie from the 80s.
Get out there and watch it, please.
Get out there and watch it. But they basically party with the dead guy and they tie strings to his hand to make him wave and point at girls and things like that. That's Tim Sheens on the sideline. I haven't seen him. I don't think I've seen him breathe.
Absolute shambles of a club. They could very well go this year without winning a game.
We'll talk about Doomsday scenarios later in the show, which is a kind of a new way that we're going to start finishing the show. But hold on, wait. Let me finish talking. I think there is a Doomsday scenario there for Tigers, but I fucking hope they get pumped on Monday. I really do. I know there are two bogey teams, but I hope they get absolutely fucking pumped.
Speaking of pumped, Collingwood under the pump again this week. There's a video that's been released. Like I said before,
it doesn't even look like him. Doesn't even look like Crispy.
It wouldn't load on my phone. So, mate, tell us from the start what's going on there.
Oh, mate, nothing much to say. Nothing much to say. I don't even indulge in the dirt that people try and bring us down by. But dual best and fairest winner, Jack Chris. It looks like there's a Snapchat floating around of him holding his dick and balls. I haven't seen it either, but who gives a shit?
He's bang as a mash, just for no reason. They're just there.
I don't know. There might have been drugs in there. I don't know, and I'm not here to
Drugs
worry
involved
about
in the
those.
situation or on the video?
Possibly on the video. But we are celebrating Jack Ginnivan coming back this week. Our small forward.
Don't change the subject.
Well, no, it's a similar subject because he's had a two-match ban because he was caught using coke as well. Listen, drugs are out there, kids. Stay away.
I'll tell you what, speaking of having your D&B out, a mate of ours at the golf day kept his D&B in this year, which was very surprising. And hats off to our friend.
We're not naming him, are we?
Hats off to our unnamed friend.
He's got a good job too. He'd hate for his name to get out there. They found out that he had his
it's obviously one of 6 people.
Charity day.
One of 6 people. Could be you, could be me. Everyone would know. If mine was out, I got a big one. But that's a whole different story. No one would know. But, mate, Collingwood in an absolute shambles. If it's not a bloody cocaine
no, they're
bust,
not. Relax.
It's a D&B out.
Relax.
What's going on there, mate? Is Eddie Maguire still the chairman there?
No.
Who's
this is a non-story. We don't have to give this any more airtime. We don't have to give this any more airtime. Craig Kelly. But it doesn't even look like him. Let's just fucking... And the club's come out and said there's a video circulating with Jack Crisp in it. I would have gone the other way and said there's a video circulating with what appears to be a Collingwood player in it. But let's just let the dust settle. It's not great time because it is a massive match on tonight. Collingwood taking on Brisbane Lions up at the Gabba. Collingwood's lost this matchup the last 4 times. Collingwood 3-0, looking to go 4 on the trot to start off their 2023 premiership campaign. And this happens? Like, tell me this. Tell me
Good
that
timing.
some grub that's been holding this Snapchat who wants to have a bet on Lions or is a Lions loser supporter has gone, let's see what happens. Let's just see. And this is what they do, punters. For anyone that doesn't know, this is actually what they do. Firstly, if you're a young bloke, if you're a footy player or what, if you want to do silly stuff, phones away. Phones away.
Oh, is this a bit of advice? Is this advice time?
I've got lots of it. I've got lots. I'm spewing with advice.
Is this advice
we do boys
for
trips.
Collingwood?
No, this is for everyone. Everyone listening. We do boys trips as nearly 40-year-olds and we still have phones away. Not that we do anything naughty, but, just if you want to have a bit of fun and have a laugh, do it. What they get for videos like that, I would say, and I've got a lot of family in the media, like media purchasing and advertising, things like that. I would dare say for something like that, they probably would have got minimum 10 grand for it. Like if it's a juicy photo, so like the Jack Ginnivan thing, and he's a big name of controversy in the AFL, and there was a little bit of footage going around with him, doing stuff like that. They could have got 30,000, 40,000 for that, more. Like I've heard random selling videos for 60,000. Like,
is that right? I reckon in my photo galleries I'm sitting on about $1.5 million.
Yeah, if I ever get into Parliament or something like that, if either of us do, we're in strife. But yeah, look, it's a big game this weekend. I really do feel like this has been leaked at a very
all right, mate. It's not the Collingwood
timely
podcast.
fashion. Yeah, I told you it's a non-event. You wanted to bring it up. So it's a big event this weekend. Before we get into the footy, we've got the Masters starting tonight.
Yeah, I saw there was a par 3 challenge on yesterday. I didn't see
par 3 challenge. They had
who won it.
I'm not sure, but it's never reflective. Usually like I'm not actually sure. I've got a bet for us. I've got a bet for us.
I've got one too.
Have you? Is it Cam Smith to win?
I do. It is 100% Cam Smith to win. You know it, baby. Australia.
Can you imagine if he did it?
Let's get him.
Can you imagine if he did it? Actually, Jason Day's short in the market too. Well, I hope he doesn't.
Life.
I hope he doesn't bring his live form. He hasn't had a great start to 2023, our man Cam. But yeah, Jason. Speaking of Australians in the market, I don't. I don't know. I know Jason Day looks to be fit and fighting, but he's short in the market. Let me just bring up a market. But I'll give you guys a little multi for it. Okay, where were you looking? Cam Smith is currently $19.
Oh,
our favourite Rory is $7.50. How there's money like that for Rory? He's not making cuts at majors.
Yeah, especially in that golf thing. He's a bit of a flop, Rory.
I watched the last 3 episodes of that. I don't mind Rory. I don't mind Rory, but yeah, like I don't see any difference with it. Okay,
big lover.
This is what I'm liking. I was getting Jason Day. Jason Day is $26, so he's the second highest Aussie. Cameron Smith. Who's our next one? Minwoo Lee 41s, which he was. He'd be better form.
He'd be better form than Jason Day.
You'd have to assume coming off the players, but okay. This is what I'm liking. Listen up. Scotty Scheffler, Cam Smith, and Will Zalatoris. Top 10 finish in a multi. Ladbrokes is offering, allowing you to do top 10 finishes as a multi. It's about 29-1. I think Cam, he's got a lot to prove in regards to the live thing and coming out and having a slow start to the 2023 season. A lot of older players have, for some reason, taken aim at Cam Smith because I suppose he's just a good Aussie. He showed more insight and emotion than most golfers do. A lot of golfers don't really show any insight or emotion, like unless it's a documentary after they've won a major or something like that. And a big part, he actually was very open in saying a big part of the reason he wanted to move to live is he actually gets to spend about 3 months of the year in Australia. Now, if that's not a great excuse to go over and sign a $60 million contract, then I don't know what is. Like, aside from the money, and the money would always be the biggest influence because it's such huge money, but if he gets to spend time with his mates, gets to see his family, like we saw after he won the, what one did he win? I can't remember now, but even after the Open, like he is so damn close with his mum and dad and his sister, very close. They don't live over there. So for him to come out and say a big part of me going over to live, and then to have older players, I'm trying to think who it is now. I don't think it was Harry Player. It was someone like big names coming out and attacking him, saying, "Oh, the best thing I could do for my family was earn the money and blah blah blah." He's doing that too. He's making bag as well. Like, let's just. I think he's got a real point to prove. That's why I like Cam. Scotty Scheffler probably wins this. He's probably the most. He is the most all-round golfer I've ever seen. He is just
last year though.
Oh, can they not win it 2 in a row?
I don't think it's very common.
And Will Zalatoris, like he's going through a little bit of an injury cloud, but his finishes in the Masters over the past, he has been the closest without winning consistently more so than anyone else over the past kind of 5 or 6 years. So that's my multi. Will, Cam, and Scotty, top 10. If you wanted to have another top 10 in there, Justin Thomas, he could be someone that actually pulls one out of the bag. But I'd be also having a lot of, $10 each on those head-to-head because they're such big odds. That's the best thing about golf betting. But, yeah, that's my go. Golf with Sam. We need a few little tags.
I'm happy to follow you on there because the thing with betting on golf, if your man makes the cut, you've got 4 days of betting on the one bet.
Yeah,
which is a pretty good utility.
I love it.
Pretty good value for a single bet to have 4 days worth of betting. You think the Everest?
Well, especially like I said,
seconds.
you've got exactly. Well, you've got to watch. You got to have those big multis and things like that to grab one. But having like $10 bets. I mean, I had a big bet on Cam because I just thought, how good would that be? And Aussie went like, imagine that pocketing a good payout as well. But you don't even, you have 10, 20, $25 on these guys at 40-1. Still a great payday, and you're and you get to follow them as soon as they make the cut. You've got 4 days of punting off a $25 bet. So yeah, I'm a big golf betting.
I segue now.
Wait, quickly on the golf thing. I reckon we use more of my. We did 4-ball Ambrose last week. I reckon we use more of my shots than anybody else.
Questionable, but I'll give it to you.
I'm a fucking good golfer now. I was hitting it.
Hoya! I'm like, that's a hockey stick, Woodhead. Shit.
I was driving up, hitting it out of the cart like polo.
Yeah. All right, segue a little bit. Still on golf. How good of a tradition that they do with the Masters that the next year, last year's champion turns up next year, and for all the other guys that have won it, he gets to put on the menu.
Yeah.
So he gets to create a entree, main, dessert for all the other.
What was Scotty's this year? I didn't see it,
mate. It is. My mouth is watering. It's 9 a.m. this morning. I feel like a cheeseburger sliders served Scotty style, firecracker shrimp with with sriracha mayo.
Yeah.
For the entree as well, tortilla soup, which is in.
I've had a tortilla soup. Yeah. What's the main?
Yeah, for the main. Texas ribeye steak or blackened redfish. Come on, get me to that dinner. Dessert, warm chocolate chip skillet cookie. This guy sounds like an absolute champion. He sounds like he would fit right in on one of our Punters Club trips.
I highly doubt that. He's extremely religious.
Oh, really?
He is devout. Absolutely devout. Like he wins majors and it's God's plan. God's plan. Yeah, I don't know.
Drake.
You know what? I don't agree. I don't think he would fit in on that Punters Club.
Well, we do.
But yeah, good feed. Good feed.
Oh, what a feed. But for our Punters Club trip, we do a similar thing where it goes for 3 nights. So I never get nominated for the stuff that I like on one night.
Well, you can't cook, so you can't. You're a good cleaner, though. You have to. I have to say, like last trip, you did 0 cooking, but you cleaned every meal.
I thought, though, buying me a Punters Club apron was a bit far. I didn't appreciate that, but I'm happy to do it. I'm happy to do a bit of...
Got those yellow rubber gloves?
Yeah. I'm happy to do a bit of cleaning. But, it takes my next point. Over a 3-day period, what would be your number one meal, whether it's an entree, a main, or a dessert? What would be your number one meal?
Shit.
I'll go first if you like. While you're thinking about it.
Yeah, go first. I've got it, I think, but yeah, you go.
I would just go a big tomahawk steak, peppercorn sauce with some big cut
peppercorn over mushroom.
Peppercorn, yeah. I'm a bit about peppercorn, mate. Sometimes I even love a bit of Diane, but she
Diane
was busy,
on steak can happen. Hello.
Oh, hello.
That's going to get reported to HR because I know you're doing it in your office and Diane's sitting right next to you.
Thank you, Diane. It was lovely. It was lovely you being with me while I ate that steak the other day, but I'd just rather sauce.
I would say one of my, we're kind of talking death row meals, like if you're sitting on the Green Mile and you get that last chance.
Yeah.
I love a burger. But I tell you what I love, a good set of barbecue pork ribs and chips and coleslaw.
The
ribs, coleslaw, chips, like that real American style. I don't know. I love pork. I just love pork. Somehow get crackling on that rib. I'd be a happy man.
A little side of crackling.
Just
you reckon you'd love the pork as much if it didn't have crackling?
I don't know if I even like pork without crackling, but ribs don't have it. But I don't know if this place is in Sydney, but there's a place up here called, it's in all the food courts in Queensland called Bucking Bull. And they sell, think about going to like the footy or something. You get like the bucket of hot chips.
Yeah.
They do buckets of 5-inch strips of crackling.
Oh.
So you see people walking around the food court like a foot long, like a ruler length of crackling, just crunching away on 4 strips of crackling.
As much as I love crackling, I've never laid back after eating a lot of it and said, geez, I feel good now.
I'm so glad. I'm a little parched, but I feel great after all that crackling.
Yeah, it's always geez, I think my heart's going to stop. I've eaten too much crackling.
Well, look, let's get into this footy, mate. We've got 2 big rounds of football with the AFL and the NRL. It is Easter weekend. It is a absolute fucking footy fest, and I love it, starting with tonight's game. But we are recording this early on Thursday morning, and we will have this up straight away. Starting with Thursday, in the AFL, we've got Lions versus Collingwood. Like I said, it's a fixture that hasn't been it hasn't really lent in Collingwood's favour for the last couple of years, but they go into this 3-0. Controversy aside, the Lions are absolutely legless up forward. In fact, they lost. Without realising it, they kind of lost their best forward last year, and he went to Collingwood. I think they thought there was more structure than there possibly was, and they just have looked absolutely legless without him. So it's an easy tip for me. I'm just going to put it to you, and I'm going to put it out there, and then we can move on to the Rooster Storm game. But I think Collingwood 1-39 at $2.50 is a great bet. I really do. You can go into your anytime goal scorers and things like that. And we do that. We bet like that a lot, but we're going to kind of stick to more easily accessible bets. But yeah, Collingwood 1-39 in what is going to be a tight clash, and it can be a bit of a bogey aside for Collingwood. So yeah, $2.50. It's great odds about that.
I don't think my heart can handle these close games. Last week we had we had Seagulls Knights draw, we had Bulldogs going to Golden Point, and we had Sharks vs Warriors, which was an absolute shit show, 32-30. Mate, I don't think I need.
Wasn't that a game? I have to say.
Yeah. Both teams probably could be equally critical of the ref, but yeah, mate. I'm just saying this weekend, I'm hoping there's a few blowouts, so it's a little bit easier on the old the old ticker. Every time you go,
I thought you were talking about your heart. Suddenly we're talking about buttholes. It was a little bit different in the AFL.
Very similar to mine.
The pack kind of split a little bit. I think the closest game last week was a 10-pointer. I think we had two at about two and a bit goals. Then everything was like 20, 30, 50, 40-point blowouts. So yeah, I'm okay. We're all going to have. But yeah, the NRL. Jeez, the ending to that Sharks Warriors game was phenomenal. Nico Himes having another crack at it towards the end of the game. It was just, brilliant, absolutely brilliant. The NRL's going great guns at the moment. It is so enjoyable, so enjoyable.
It is, and I feel like they've put an edict out this weekend for the backs doing high shots.
Yeah,
and I'm sort of like, guys, you're on a good thing here. Let's not start trying to ruin it, eh? Let's not start trying to bring in sin binnings and send-offs and all that over trivial matters, because that's what the fans fucking hate. They did last year.
Yeah, they warm up. The refs start inserting themselves into games. We're starting to see it already. You could see it in round 5. Like we're starting to see it already. AFL's creeping in a little bit, but yeah, even the hip drop, even the bunker pulling plays back fucking 2 minutes. Like, 50 metres back down the field because of something. Like, come on. We've got to get a better system than this.
It's not good for not the avid watcher of rugby league to not know what's going on. So people are getting sent off for hip drops or penalised and sin bin for hip drops. The punter doesn't even know what a fucking hip drop is.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't. I think it was in our little
you thought
chat.
It was a dance
I had no
move.
idea.
I'm like, mate, that's dropping.
That's how I got the missus, the old hip drop. Whoop.
I thought you meant it was the ripping and the tearing. The ripping and the tearing. The wild women.
The wild women. Can we get into this game? Come on, you are spacey today.
Because I'm wearing my Tigers.
West Tigers shirt. We've spent half an hour bagging the Tigers, sitting there in an orange shirt.
I got to go down and do a bit of sweeping, sweep the floors and clean the toilets soon. A bit like Pasco.
Stand up. Have you got an American soldier on the bottom of that shirt? Oopsies. What a game tonight. What a game tonight. Storm, Roosters, the battle of the cheese. He's defected. He's gone to the Roosters. There's been some chat. Your cousin, Christian Walsh. Do we just call him your cousin? Does he know he's your cousin?
Oh, mate, I call him a brother. I've never met him.
Brother from another family.
The Cairns Mole gave me that tip. And for those of you that don't know the Cairns Mole, he lives in Cairns. He's my granddad. He inserts a lot of knowledge into the Tips and Slips group. For those of you that aren't on it, the Leg Up Tips and Slips group, and mate, he's rapid fire tipping.
So what?
When he's hot, he's hot. But he told me Christian Welsh, my cousin. I'm like, who? And he's like, your nan's sister's son.
Oh, okay.
I'm like, that's pretty close. I can see where he got his footy from. The big fella. The big fella right here.
Oh, you guys talking about my big cousin Pat.
I've heard him in some interviews.
Christian, calm down. You've never even met him. Oh, God, I've heard stories about him, though. I've heard stories about him.
Cairns Mull, the Tips and Slips. Christian, how did you know? You're a legend. I love you,
Someone
mate.
keeps messaging me anonymously on Instagram saying about how good a player he was.
And with a heap of Cairns mail.
So I like the Christian Welsh. I don't know if this was on Instagram or something like that, saying about how he's coming for your cheese and like having a bit of a joke. And I think Brandon put up like a photo of Jared Hargraves like flaring up. I thought this is actually going to be great. It's a close game. How have you seen it?
It's going to be great because whilst they joke, when the best of the best get out on the field, they are the ultimate competitors. And if anything, you can probably see some line stepping going on because both of them will want the win desperately. Massive amounts of ego, and they want the bragging rights of being the winner here. I've got to say, massive out when you have the best player in the world out, Tedesco. I know they get Manu in, and he is a Golden Boot winner as well, but you cannot overlook that loss. They get Mitch Orbison, a.k.a. Drew Hutchinson, into the centres. That you can't see that as a positive in and out where you've got to push Manu back to fullback. Him at centre, Tedesco at fullback. You would almost lean towards tipping them.
I don't think that's a huge loss in regards to skill set. In regards to, I actually rate Manu that well, and like you said, it's the loss in the centres or on that right side that. What side is he? Yeah, anyway. But I think there'd also be a lot of direction from Tedesco on the field that'll they'll really miss.
Different dynamic with Manu at fullback. But then again, Melbourne, huge in. Jerome Hughes comes back in. Jonah Pezzett out. Hughes in. They got the gun half and 5'8". Let's go. It's going to be a Melbourne win, I reckon, tonight.
Is Olam in? Is Justin Olam playing tonight?
Olam's in, yep.
Yeah, okay.
Olam's in. And I'm tipping for it to be a close game. So I'm taking Storm to win the under 39.5 points for total match points at $3.10.
Storm to win. Have you got these written down?
Yeah, I've got them in the bet slip already, but I'm ready to go.
Man. Can you type them up for me and send it to me so I can put them on socials? So we're just going to pick a game from each day, like the best game from both codes each day for us to pull apart. We're actually tipping the full rounds now on Tlu Sports social pages. So get involved with that. So we're going Collingwood 1 to 39 and Storm win over 39.5, did you say?
Under 39.5. I reckon it's going to be a close game tonight.
39.5.
It's going to be defence on defence for these guys tonight.
Let me just have a quick look, which will help us as well. What's the weather doing down there? Because the unders might be bet.
Well, you're after the weather down there. Well, mate, if it's up here, what about they're looking at a heavy track again for the second day of the championships on Saturday at Randwick. It could not have rained heavier last night.
Oh, Sydney. Really?
Oh, it teamed down. Puddles in the morning sort of stuff. So,
shit. Okay. What do we got? Rain in Melbourne today is... what are we looking at? Oh, it's actually going to be raining. It might rain during the game. Great for an unders bet.
Yeah. Well,
great for an unders bet.
That definitely feeds into the unders.
All right, let's head over to Friday. I haven't got a lot to go through this game. This could actually be... I think a lot of people tipping a blowout, North Melbourne versus Carlton. I've also seen Carlton a little bit rudderless in their wins and their draw. I'm going to go North Melbourne plus 25.5 at $1.90, but we don't really need to go into that game.
Plus 25.5 at $1.90. Okay.
Yeah. It's a big line. It's a big line.
Can't go on good. Shit.
Can't go on good, but it's their wins. Their wins haven't been kind of convincing. So last week, where are we? Sorry. They beat GWS by 10 points, but that was, remember we needed Toby Green to score one goal before the end of that game, and there was like a dissent call. Like they literally got gifted that win, The week before they beat Geelong, who still haven't won this year, by 8 points on a Thursday night, so a big lights game. And the week before that, they tied with Richmond, who Collingwood came out and put 20 on last week. So they're up there and they're essentially undefeated. They haven't been defeated. They've drawn and they've won two. But yeah, like I said, I don't think they haven't faced a top 8 side in my opinion yet. So I think the Kangas can get one here, and I think a lot of people would be. I'm actually going to tip them in my tips because you got to find that upset. But yeah, I think the Kangas might be able to stay in touch with this game. So what are we looking at? What is the Friday night games? Let me have a look here.
The Friday
Doggies,
night game,
Rabbitohs. Yeah, these 2 great games.
I'm going the early game here. I'm not waiting around for the next Queensland derby.
It's got something else now. The Queensland the Clash or something.
Well, whilst Bulldogs are my team, I cannot be with them for this game. They're coming off a very, very tough win against the Cowboys. Rabbitohs also coming off a tough loss against the Storm, and I think that's probably the game to take the form out of. They get
a tougher loss, wasn't it? It was a tougher loss. Like they'll feel that harder than.
They would have been scratching their heads at the end of that game thinking, geez, we've played well here and got done.
How we lose it?
Whereas I reckon Bulldogs would have been looking at that last week's game going, fuck, how did we get away with that?
The line's 6.5 currently. South's $1.45 and Canterbury $2.75.
The line is 6.5, is it?
Yeah, line is 6.5.
Okay, well, so, mate, can you roll this in as the odds? Because I've got different odds here. So
it'll still be the same odds if you've got different.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll be taking South minus 6.5.
Yeah.
I think this could be a real rout by Souths, and we've been waiting for the penny to drop with Latrell. I reckon he's going to pick it up. He's going to pick that team up this week and really.
6 weeks in a row, we've been saying this could be Latrell's game. This could be the game.
But also, mate, Bulldogs are coming into this game with half their forward pack. They've got 2 forwards in. Max King's eye looked like a friggin' horror show last week.
I have to say, I've never ever. Was that the game where I wrote into the group myself? I've never ever seen that before in my life, where 2 players got the other side of the tackle. One fingered the other one's eye. The eye was completely damaged and closed, and the finger got dislocated. How hard?
No. So the finger ripped the webbing in between his fingers.
Oh!
Yeah. So he...
because I saw them strapping it, and he's going... I'm like, is he putting it back in a... How hard do you have to get poked in the eye for that to fucking happen?
Yeah, and mate, his eye, I can't believe he went back on. I said about him in the second round that Max King is having a ripping start to the season.
Yeah, you did.
And he's playing great. That. And to his credit, and probably to his coach's confidence in him, that the team needs him. And they, even with that fucked eye, they got him back out there and they won the game. So that is huge.
I can't believe he went out there with that eye too. It was bare, he wouldn't be able to see through it.
I reckon Serrato looked at him and goes, mate, if you get back out there, they will not tackle you. No one will go anywhere near you. That is disgusting. Seriously. Even the doctor looked at him and goes, ugh!
I've seen some stuff.
Yeah. So they got Fatula Mariner out as well with head knock. Franklin Pele broke his arm. So it was they lost a lot of troops that game. They're going to be going into this with a few inexperienced guys, and I think South's the penny could drop here. I'm taking Cody Walker to score. He's been an absolute try-scoring machine this year. I'm taking Campbell Graham to score. I reckon they'll be under the pump, even though it's probably an easy thing to say that we could put some forwards try-scorers in there because they'll be rolling through the forwards. I reckon their forwards will just roll through Bulldogs. They'll be spinning it out to Cody. Cody will be hitting Campbell Graham on edge, and I think that'll be hard to hold out. I reckon they're going to pump a big score too, so I'll be taking the over 42.5. Over 42.5. Campbell Graham, anytime try scorer. Cody Walker, anytime try scorer. Souths, minus 6.5. $9.25.
$9.25. Just for your Saturday. Oh, your Friday night.
Bit of value. Bit of value. Friday afternoon.
I thought we're doing simpler bets.
4 o'clock kickoff. Simpler bets, mate, but when you start
4 o'clock.
reading the game.
Oh, because it's Good Friday, isn't
Good Friday. It's the best.
And why wouldn't they have it earlier? That doesn't make sense to me. What's the AFL? 4:20. Blaze time.
4:20 time.
4:20 time to light them up and watch the footy. Let's move on to Saturday. I don't really care for any of these games.
For your games?
To be honest. Yeah, not really.
Get lost then.
I'll put the
hand me over the ball.
I'll put the tips out. Put the tips out.
We don't need to. I've got some value
So
here.
you've got Penrith, Manly, Broncos, Raiders on Saturday. Both big games in kind of the scheme of each of those teams individually. I'm interested to see about this Penrith Manly game. What do you think of that one?
Well, let me just roll a quick one out of that the Broncos game. Broncos are coming off smashing the Tigers. Canberra coming off getting smashed. I reckon this game will just be Broncos. Reece Walsh has gone a few weeks without scoring a try. He's due. He's due for a try. He would have scored a couple in that fucking last week route of
1 week, I think.
He would have scored a couple in that the route of the West Tigers, except he got cramped. Just throw that in. That's just a bit of value for the punters. I think it's paying $2.61. Broncos to win. Reece Walsh anytime try scorer. But the other game is probably, this could be the game of the round.
Yeah.
Penrith Manly, and I've got to say, I'm tipping the upset.
Blake will be happy about this one.
Big ins for Manly in this game too. They've got Jason Saab, who looks like, I don't know if you guys saw him 3 or 4 years ago when he was at Dragons, but he was a rake. He was just a tall rake.
Oh, I remember him. Yeah. Is he built out? They put the kilos on.
Bro, and he's fast too. He's fast now, and he's ripped. He is ripped. So he looks like he's put on 5 kilos. Mate, you might have to get me blocking tackle out. Where's my Snapchat?
His shirt off.
Where's my Snapchat?
Oh, I wish he had one. I wish he had one with his holding his dick and balls. Okay, so Manly, just okay. I'm loving betting an upset.
And then the biggest in of all.
Wait! Stop! Are they not going to be buggered? That was a big game. They got the travel out to Mudgee. They have it. Was it the Mudgee game last week? It was, wasn't it? They had a tie out there.
32-all draw with Newcastle.
They would tie with Newcastle, which doesn't look great on paper, but they look absolutely spent after that game. I love Daly's kind of energy towards the end of it, like, we've got a lot to learn and things like that. But I think that takes it out for them to roll into another big Saturday clash against Penrith.
Bro, it's 7 days ago. That is maximum turnaround for them. They would have had the first 3 days of the week off. So I don't...
Done a few wine tastings.
Yeah, it was a 5 day...
Just stay out here, boys. Enjoy Mudgee. Enjoy the region.
Penrith, you're nearly there already. Just hour and a half down the road.
Don't go back to the northern beaches. They're just playing out of Mudgee. Set up home base.
But yeah, the big in is Josh Schuster. He's so Shushy and Jason Saab didn't play in that game anyway, so they are going to be 2 massive injections of energy into the Sea Eagles team. It's out at Mudgee. How often do we see these what's it called games? This is back at Bluebet, sorry.
Yeah, this is, yeah.
But how often when they go out to Mudgee or they go out to one of those country games, you see upset. You see something crazy happen, like a draw. So I got to say, I reckon I can put that aside. I think, what is it? In a couple of weeks, Paraplay in Darwin, like it becomes a lottery because it's a lot different.
They're hard games to bet on, absolutely.
Yeah. So, mate, I reckon this. I know it's a Penrith home game, but Sea Eagles, they're on upward trajectory. I think this could be a upset time for Panthers.
Line is 7.5. Manly at $2.75.
No need for line, boys. Let's go straight out. Just straight out onto Manly. They're paying $3.
They're $2.75 now.
The $2.75, mate. Are you sure? This morning I was doing it. They were $3 something.
Let me have a quick look.
$3.15. $3.15 for Manly. Let's get
$3.25. $3.25 I've got. I don't know what I was looking at.
Let's get them, boys.
Let me just see. The line is still the same. What is it? The line's 9.5. What did I just say? Well, I won't be using that app. 7.5.
And guess who?
It's a reputable app
Penrith
too.
Big out too. Fisher Harris out.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, huge.
That's
out.
not a good one. That's a tough one to take.
Iso in. I don't think he's any for James Fisher Harris, but good luck to him. Good luck to him, bro.
Good luck.
Who we got Sunday in the AFL?
Sunday in the AFL. What's probably the best game here? I Essendon GWS, probably the pick of the games. I think we might see, in fact, the other Sunday game is probably one of my doomsday scenarios. But Essendon versus GWS. GWS have been absolutely heroic. They've had some tough games right down to the wire. They've been close in everything. Essendon last week, they nearly dampened the party for the 150-year celebration of St Kilda. They came out and they really were looking to win that game. They've got some great young players. Essendon are definitely going to be better than we all first thought. I think they've really got a point to prove. GWS, they've been close in a lot of their games, but I just think from that, they look tired. They're going to go into these games tired. They had that game, I think it was at Sydney about 3 weeks ago or 2 weeks ago. I think it was round 2, where they played in like 38-degree heat. I think it was in Sydney. If anyone remembers this, just write in and let me know. But I think it was in Sydney, and they played in big heat, and they were absolutely cooked. And I saw an interview with Toby Green later in the week, and they said, "Oh, look, you said this after the game, and this happened," and blah, blah. And he said, "Listen, I actually I can't really remember." He goes, "I was so exhausted, I can't really remember." So imagine having a big game like that in the first 2 weeks of the season, and then having nothing but like close, tough games. Like I said, Carlton, they lost by 10 points in the end, but that really was a goal in it the whole game. The week before that, where are they? The week before that, they were in Perth. So they've had the travel in there as well. They lost by 19 points. And the first week, that must have been the one at Giant Stadium. Yeah, it was. And they won against the Adelaide Crows. Now, the Crows are not a bad side. They started really slow, so you can't take a lot from that. But I actually reckon they're exhausted. I think this game's going to be close, but I think Essendon's going to win it. I'm going to have another 1-39 bet here with Essendon at $2.20. The other game, quickly, West Coast, Melbourne. West Coast, I mean, they haven't really shown much this year. They did have to get that win at home against GWS that I just mentioned, but they have been absolutely ravaged by injury. I'm tipping Melbourne minus 45.5, which is the line. But this could get near triple figures. The loss here. I think you'll get a lot of, the young guys step up and they get their chance to play AFL, where they probably were another year or so off. But Melbourne, red hot form. They've got a chip on their shoulder. They look like they're starting to, Petraka and what's my other man? The redhead. He's got the redhead with the shaved mullet at the moment. I can't remember. He's Clayton Oliver. Don't forget him. He's probably the best player in the comp.
I wouldn't have got that. I think I asked you about the best redheads in the comp the other day, actually.
Yeah, there's some great ones in AFL. But yeah, I think we actually mentioned Clayton Oliver, but yeah, they could put 90 on him here. But yeah, minus 45.5. What about these Sunday games for the NRL? You got 2, haven't you?
Yeah, mate, absolute soup. I couldn't tip you into any of these with any confidence.
Titans, Dragons, Knights, Warriors. I could have the day off on Sunday from watching the NRL.
Well, no, mate. I reckon. Wait, firstly, Titans, Dragons. I'll just be tease the line down to tease the total points down to 42.5. Take that at $1.52, and just sit back and watch that game. There could be 100 points put on. There will be at least 50 points put on. Don't worry about that. Okay. So
up here, weather's beautiful, absolutely stunning. Yeah. Out at Seabus on the
have it at 42.5. Just relax, okay? Because then the late night game, the 6:15 game. We can just crack a beer and watch this one. Knights coming off the 32-all draw. Warriors coming off the 32-30 win over Cronulla. This is a sit back and watch if I've ever seen one. Anything could happen here. Anything could happen. Honestly, it could end up being 2-0.
We're going to have a draw. We're going to have a draw. 2-all. 2-all.
Yeah, who knows what's going to happen in that game. So, mate, your two AFL bets? Roll me through them again.
Essendon 1-39 and Melbourne minus 45.5. So 220 and 190.
Yep, into over 42.5 points at $1.52 in the Titans Dragons game.
That's about $6.30
That's your
for your little Sunday multi.
That's
your Sunday saviour.
Sorted. And who's your Monday game now? Who's your Monday game now?
Our Monday. I swear your mum just walked past the office. A lady looked like your mum just then. It's the Queen. It's the Gold Coast Sue doppelganger.
She got to work. What's she doing up there?
She got to work. Monday's Cats Hawthorn. So this is the traditional Easter Monday game.
This could be triple, couldn't it?
Well, this could be the Doomsday scenario as well. Cats, our reigning premiers Geelong, are currently 0-3. If they lose this weekend, they would go 0-4 for the first time in 40 years.
As a premier,
never started a season. I don't know. I'd love to know that. The premiership hangover can be very real. I get that, but they just haven't shown up. Some players have. Like I said, there's a few passengers. But yeah, I was listening to Gary Lyons on the couch on Fox Footy, and he was talking about and I've often thought about this, but young players that have really battled hard for their positions. There's a guy called Tyson Stengel, and I know he didn't do much last week because I had a bet on him for any time goal. And how do these guys stay motivated? They've just reached the pinnacle. They've just reached that peak, and then they've got to back up. The pre-season after a grand final would go like that. Because you've got your celebrations, you lose that week one or week two after the grand final and they were with the old boys from the Cats side, so those boys would have been celebrating like it could be their last premiership ever. Joel Selwood, their captain, they lose him. He's still there in a I think a coaching leadership an advisory capacity at the club, but not having that he's that real inspiration on the field. He's always got a cut above his eye, or he's always bleeding, things like that. That is replaced by Patrick Dangerfield, who was absolutely their losses have kind of overshadowed how well Patrick Dangerfield has played this year. But yeah, those younger players that not younger players, let's say late 20s, early 30s that have just, 10 years in the AFL system. So, yeah, I'm wrong. Not young players, but 10 years in, they just hit that grand final against all odds, too old, too slow. They get it. How do they back up with motivation? Do you have an answer to that?
I don't have an answer to it, but I can say these young blokes, they're getting the toe into the season now. They're at round 4. You would think the young guys, when they dip in form, you want your older guys to start standing up. So you think that they would start the year, like you said, with a lot of motivation. They've played well. They're happy to be there still. Whereas the older guys are probably a bit like, it's a long season. I don't have to get up straight away. And if that's not gelling, if it's not gelling and there's a massive divide between the young guys playing really well and the older guys really not pulling their weight at the moment, then the problem is that you get to that point early in the season. The Dolphins have sort of seen this, is that it flips around and the old guys start playing well, and the young guys, that level of motivation drops off a bit. A few losses. They've put so much into those other losses early. They've tried to play so well and, make up for the older guys that aren't putting in. It starts to breed a bit of resentment.
Yeah, I think
it should be interesting.
I reckon dropping some players and things like that. I'd be making
drop
some
an older
moves now
player.
if I was the coach.
That'd fucking put a rocket up everyone.
Yeah, I think
drop one of those older players and that goes, oh shit.
Get rid of imagine dropping a Tom Hawkins, who has been absolutely. It looks like he's injured or something. Man. He has not been able to move. They need to oil up the joints, but he imagine dropping him and pulling I don't know. Even like a Tyson Sting, I'm just say, just sit out. I'm not seeing the passion and the motivation. And I think there's, you always used to say around the commentary around NRL, they all love each other, and we've actually had feedback on this show about how you're bloke in bars and things like that. Every player in the NRL, every team is the best of the best. Where we kind of saying it for what it is, and the NRL is a bit like that. They piss in each other's pockets a little bit. The AFL commentary will call them out. But I also think, in the AFL, I think coaches get too close to the playing group. he's lost the playing group. He's lost the playing group. Well, what does that mean? Like, you're just not best friends with these fucking 18-year-olds? Like, you're a 48-year-old man. How much in common can you have outside of footy? Or you're 58, like 59. I think I think that Scott, the coach at Geelong, he's I can't remember his first name, but they're twins, and one's coach of
Brad Scott.
One of the Scotts. I always get confused because I fucking hate him. But he might be too close to the playing group to actually make calls like that. He might be sitting there going, well, far out. How do I go tap Tom Hawkins on the shoulder and say, listen, you've been a club stalwart, like you are the son of Geelong. Now hit the pine, like piss off. So maybe he can't do that, but make a stance with one of these these mid-range players where you sit there and say Tyson Stengel, or I'm trying to think who else would be, like even an Ollie Henry who's new into the side. He kicked a few, but I think he only kicked one last week. So
going back to that though, it's a great way to see what motivates that person at the club. So for your Tommy Hawkins, it's a great way to see if he pines him, then to see what his reaction is. If he fucking whinges to all the younger blokes or whinges to anyone, then you've got your line in the sand where you go, all right, maybe it's his attitude. Maybe that's the reason he's not performing.
It can't be him. Like, as much as we keep talking about it, it can't be him, because he could very easily just turn around and go, well, fuck yous.
I'm going to
retire.
atomic bomb the whole playing group. Yeah.
The atomic bomb. That Geelong for me, I think they need to come out and actually show something and almost make a statement. On Easter Monday, these games have been so close. Remember, there was a run there of like 7 years where these games were decided by a goal or less. I don't think this is going to be the case on Monday. I'm going to take the Cats minus 30.5, which is the line, at $1.90.
Whoa. Well, mate, let's team into it. You're going Cats minus 30.5. We've said enough shit about West Tigers. I think this could be the Easter Monday that really...
The Easter Monday massacre.
The Easter Monday massacre that really rips that last card out of this house of cards and makes something happen on Tuesday. I reckon we'll be waiting for a headline on Tuesday.
Yeah, I agree.
Tim Sheen just stepped down.
This is a headline maker.
Yeah, I reckon I've got the Eels putting 50 on it. I'm taking Para minus 13.5, over 44.5 points. Gutho to score a try. They've got the biggest in ever, the Eels, is Sean Lane in the back row. That's a special for Gutho running off his ball, off his offload. They've done it a million times before. I reckon it could happen half a dozen times on the weekend. The only thing that I could see the score not blowing out too far, or it being like a score like 40 to 30 is if the Eels have just eaten too much Easter lunch. That's the only way that Tigers are coming into this game. They've had to change the team around again. Staines goes to fullback. Dewey's back in the halves. Please, it stinks of desperation. They've come out through the week and said they might buy Mitchell Pearce. They're looking for anything. Do you know what?
Mitchell Pearce.
It's like they've stepped in dog shit. And
they just hold on. I need you to stop saying stink and dog shit and stuff, because I don't think the camera picked it up, but I just ripped the biggest fart, and right as I'd finished, Blake just walked in the door.
Oh God!
He just walked straight into the office. So sorry, Blake, if there was a smell when you walked in, but yeah, I agree. Like the Mitchell Pearce thing, it reeks of desperation.
Yeah, and I reckon this game could put them to bed. So, yep,
easy Monday.
Easy Monday for everyone. Eels minus 13.5, over 44.5 points. Gutho to score a try. I wish I could put into that multi the try assist for Gutho's try, because I can just see it coming off of Sean Lane.
Oh, he'll have 2 or 3 easy. Yeah. Sean Lane back. He's got the wires out of his jaw last Thursday, as we know, and he could be doing anything. He could be doing anything. What's wrong? I brought him here. Oh, okay. Blake's here.
All right, boys. Mate, I reckon we wrap it up on that. The Monday, the Easter
We didn't
Monday
do a
massacre.
Is both our Doomsday scenarios Monday?
Both our Doomsday scenarios Monday and
Yeah, mine is Geelong going 0-4 and they are forced to make changes and the wrong changes made. Plus, West Coast getting beaten by 100 points. But yeah, I think the Monday massacre down at where is it? At a call on Monday?
Yeah, mine's Tuesday's headline being one of the coaches has stepped down.
Bernie's he just says goodbye to the faithful. Yeah, Sheen's gone Tuesday if they get beat by 50.
Mitchell Pearce
comes on at half time.
Do you know what?
They picked him up from the international airport and driven him straight to Accor Stadium. Oh,
Charlie Staines might get the result too as well. It might be we might see some Sheen Staines on
it is Accor Stadium. Yeah, Sheen Staines, exactly.
I gotta roll now. The stuff just rolled in.
Good to see you, mate. Good talking to you. Good luck this weekend, punters, and enjoy Easter. Be safe.
Cheers, boys. Thank you.
See ya.